Don't you know you're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know you're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the employment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know you're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get their share. Poor people gonna rise up and take what's theirs. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I say you better run, 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 run. Oh, finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. And finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Oh no, talking about a revolution. Oh, while they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the employment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know you're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. And finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. And finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. Oh no, talking about a revolution. Oh no, talking about a revolution. Oh no.
know if that was okay. Let's imagine. It's probably gonna get copyright struck. It's so similar. I added those layers to this. Thought I would continue, so if you're watching this randomly from this moment, no idea what's going on, I would watch the last one. Just like go back to the last one. Where I'll probably tell you go back to the last one. Where I'll probably tell you go back to the last one. Where I'll probably tell you go back to the last one. It is what it is. We're going through flood currents of the Earth, mapped based in technical papers, with the interpretation that radiometric dating is useful for relative ages, but does not account for the flood when things were different during that time period. Hey. Sup? I'm going through this map here. So I was thinking. Oh Lord. I've been thinking about this since I did it, looking at it occasionally. Maybe I can add some things that I realized. I didn't want to do it off screen, so that I documented. Nah. You got more than could ever be reasonable. I done did moon the camera. Oh man. What you want from me? Oh shit. Okay, but I'm thinking about some flood currents here, and we got let's do a different color. Maybe that one. Maybe go much bigger. Okay, that's good. Oh, I appreciate that. That's a fix. Oh shit. Let's see. So I have a current here. That's just generally going like this. And then if we look up here, this red current and this green, I'm not sure. I was thinking there's probably a counter current at the pole. So maybe this one. I was thinking this one is actually up. Going upward, where currents going this way are running into resistance, and just anything that gets over is like going upward here, and then ends up going this way and joins a current that's generally going this way. And then maybe another color. we've got current going off of this and going up and eddying. Oh shit. I knew it was gonna fucking do that. I was surprised. I was like, why didn't it do that the previous time? I mean, I'm freaking recording and it's a Rumble. It's a permanent record. I'm on permanent record. Eddie here. I'm thinking, this, what I drew as purple here was kind of pretty loosely based on something. It's also on YouTube. I mean Rumble in that YouTube, my video can be just removed. Rumble is more of like a permanent storage location. I feel like that's why I do it there. Okay, what else we got? I wanted to try to draw. We've got current going through here. I wonder if it's generally going across. It's going for sure. I'm just like, do I didn't even draw there? Cross that way. And then down. And across that way. I guess I should have made these just... I'm gonna redo it all. Fuck it. Just make it all this color. So we've got this current going upward here, wrapping around like that. Then we've got current coming eastward that's generally joining it, as well as dividing and cutting across that and going down and joining down there. Then we've got current here going this way. That really is coming from North America, so it's going up this way. And then across and down across this way. Oops. Oops. Cross Lake Baikal. Generally across here. Or I don't know if Baikal, actually that's more towards Damn it, Arcoon stuff. Oops. I would imagine it's your connection. I don't know. Or it's because they're on to me. And down. No, ain't no one on to me in this world. No one cares. I did it again. Oh, it's because it's confusing me. It literally crosses over and goes down underneath it and goes up this way. And I was thinking it might internally go the other way on the continent. I mean, you could argue your case. I have insider information. I forget. I feel like. Okay, then we got going off of this and around and back. And eddying here. And end up here. And then current going this way. So maybe wrapping around here. I'm not sure if that's where it's sourced from. But going across here, interestingly, like bending, if there's a current going across, and this starts here and goes down here, like the straight path is across here, but it's bending in the current, and then passing it and going back this way. And then there's eddies around it. Smaller. I'm trying to look at like the larger. Let's see. Money. And then below this, though, is going left in some region. I think it's in the north. But generally west. And part of a larger scale system here. That's running into here. And generally deflecting around here, though. Interacting with the current going down over here in this region at the East African Rift Zone. And then we've got some of this going off of this upward. And basically through this eddy. Well, off of Australia, there's a current going this way, around the Mariana Trench, basically, around here, off of resistances here, and deflecting along this boundary, which then, back before the Earth expanded sufficiently for that to be pointed differently, it was going over this way. So there's a current going through that way that then goes underneath this, which contributes to why it's cutting. And then that current runs into these other currents that have already cut that are deeper. So that like it runs into it, bends around. And then a portion of this one branches off between above this current. So this current's going eastward, just wrapping around Antarctica basically. Oh, don't worry, I just did some. That's not the thing. It's more the other thing. Oh, shit. I gotta raise up. I feel a little low. Yeah, maybe a little high. There we go. Okay. So I was hoping by doing this, it would like kind of bring some things to attention. Maybe I should have done more than one color. No, I've done this many. But this current over here squeezes between all the things going on. Oop, and like a roundabout goes through. Whoa, it's like a roundabout. Crazy. That's fucking crazy to think about. But it goes through from this eddy, the huge eddy that breaks apart here, that separates South America from Africa. While there's another eddy over here that could have done the same, but it happened here. This is my main medicine I have to offer. So this one ends up going across this way and joins this current going around Antarctica and feeds into it. So we've got feeding currents off of up here that are flowing down to that eddy, and then off of the eddy we have currents that are exhausting up this way, back to the north, up this way, back to the north, and then to this eddy, where then it rotates and goes the other way, or it just joins the eddy. Then there's a lot of complexities going on here as well. This also goes more up that way and then bends and comes back in this area where it bends back, which is contributing to this current. Branching off and going north, while forming eddies in the process here, ramping this current up, I guess, to join it, this maybe, largely. I don't see anything. What else we got? Then we've got this current that branches off here. Instead of going below, it goes above it and goes up this way. Like in this, these two interacting with each other, running into each other and going up, kind of thing. Where one of them is carving the western margin of things and applying the pressure to it, whereas the other is east of the Andes, at least initially. Some of it probably interacts inside west of the Andes. I mean, I can't just like, it's just, and then there's another time. Now I'm just freaking, now I'm a whore. You want me to be a whore? Oh shit. This current goes through also. Doop. Well, this one goes through also. Doop. Runs into it. It wraps around though. This one just kind of is like, I don't know what to do. Goes up this way though. Joins there. Missing this current here. It's a current that goes this way. Let's do another color. It's coming from somewhere. I don't know, maybe this way. Maybe off of here and generally wrapping up this way and going around this way and down through the pressure, and then there's so you're just like setting up at least 3 more times. Oh shit. I guess my thought is it generally joins here and joins down that way and joins down that way. Possibly some of it ends up going more in that way even. Whoa, it's like the rattlesnake tail at the end of the current. Even though it's the front of the current. Just like, can I make this one continuous path without lifting the pen? Hey there, Supreme Neon. Mapping Earth's current flows from the flood. that's what's happening. It's gonna be nonsense to just look at it like in a moment, but oh, I said here, and I did it, and you didn't see. I did it, and as a matter of fact, 3 consecutive times. Just boom, and I was like, he's not responding. Boom, boom. Just to get like all the approaching 5 out of the way. So that's okay. I'm gonna go back to doing these current things. Sorry there, Supreme. I can't really explain it very. Oh shit. Oh, it must have bugged out. It bugged out. It's fucking Streamlabs for you, I guess. Okay, so I know it's a mess, but these are the currents of the flood that interacted during the flood and shaped the earth so that, like, it is what it is, literally. From the time period of around 541 million years radiometric dating to the Younger Dryas was the flood, which was literally reshaped the earth, formed mountains, and caused the earth to expand to a new radius.
It can be used as a verb.
I'll go to the next one. Earth does not function under plate tectonics. It expanded. It can be traced in the magnetic anomaly maps of the map of the Earth, of the flood currents, and then the actual satellite imagery of the Earth, as well as is in the actual technical details. I have thousands of hours, probably thousands, at least 1,000 hours of video content analyzing details and really demonstrating this is the flood happened. It's in the data completely. Hey man, we all live with broken hearts. That's life, you know? That's life. It is what it is. This guy, you know, focus on you. That's life too. Always teaching us. Also, this current that goes down and across this way ends up bending and going more this way. And basically up this way. The thing with a lot of those kinds of theories is they don't account for the expanding Earth. They don't acknowledge the time period of around 600 million years to basically present geologically was the flood. So while this flood is happening, there are many pole shifts. Many. Like, it is a substantial record in the crust of the earth. That doesn't mean that is actually what that data is saying. The ocean's floor is a product of the flood. As crazy as that is. It shaped the underlayers, and then the continental crust moved off the top of, and essentially the crust was a single landmass, and then the flood happened, which then cut the land masses of the crust apart. The crust was solid like a shell, and the flood was a event that caused a lot of energy to pressure to build up inside of the planet, so that it literally had to burst and break the shell. So it was trying to break the shell by like cutting the continents apart based on the flood currents that are still traceable. And then it broke the shell, and the earth expanded to a new radius, and that allowed for the flood currents to retreat somewhere, because there were no ocean floors, at least like the majority of it, during the flood, until near the end of the process, when the earth actually broke apart enough to expand to its final radius that it is today. And in that process, all sorts of so-called pole shifts happened, and people just don't know what they're talking about. I mean, it's all based in misinterpretations, simple acceptance of modern science's interpretations of things, and not really thinking about it, and just taking it for granted that something they heard is true without actually considering whether or not there's reasons it is not, and what alternatives could better explain something that's not fully explained. Taking some half-baked explanation and accepting it as valid without actually like doing the due diligence to consider alternatives. That's what I think is going on with the pole shift kind of thing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, based on scripture and things, that there is a pole shift. I interpret a future shift of things to happen as a result of these currents. What exactly that is hard to tell, but some things I have in mind that I basically interpret as a pole shift. I don't think it's the same thing that people think. It's not just going like north to south, south to north. It's literally reestablishes new poles. This right here is a pole of the flood currents of the earth, that it may choose to be a better option for a pole at a later point. Although this location is not actually where it is anymore. It's actually more down here, where that point is. But past pole shifts are, I mean, they're just in a record that's not understood, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, I'm gonna carry on here. So let me see. If I do, let's say 30, sure, that's good. And then go green. something that will show, I guess. And then add a layer. Can I trace and follow everything here? So if we start here, and then go back to the same point and just keep going. Oh shit. So we have now covered that portion by tracing that portion, and then let's extend off of that, go up this way. So it's all one continuous flow at this point, is what I'm trying to do. A continuous flow. What the fuck? What in the... Okay, and then again we reach an eddy where that allows us basically to spin this way and do the top. So let's just do the top. So now one continuous flow still. That's just wrapping around the top at this point as we in the bottom, and then this one's kind of below it in what I drew it. I'm not sure. It might branch off it, but we don't need it to. So let's just go elsewhere. I'd like to do... Does anything else branch off this? No. This bottom one... Oh yeah. It branches again back here. So it branches in the Indian Ocean, cutting it open as contributing to it, and then it branches in the Pacific. Runs into another current in this region, and then continues to the best of its ability. It also goes out here and divides. It goes out here, which I drew over here. So we still have one current. I mean, obviously, we're going to be able to do this to demonstrate how a single flow, like a snake coiling kind of thing, can make this whole thing. And like the pressures make sense, I would say. Like the top one, let's see, it has a branch off here generally, one here and one here. So the bottom one, although maybe this branches too. This probably branches too. Let's look at the map and see if it's like in the terrain very well. I'd say that suggests it does. This here goes to here, which then goes this way, so this was probably very closely related to that. Like this line from here over is above here, so it seems about right. I don't know if timing is right. I do not know enough about that to give you any real response. Although, interestingly, my work is heavily a function of ancient Dwarka. So it has some Hindu ties. But, I really don't know. I've been thinking it's hard to even like guess at something yet with a lot of things. I'm trying to understand, I guess. I just haven't looked at Hinduism very thoroughly. I came across ancient Dwarka as a concept and looked into that, and I've looked into shalograms extensively, but other than that I've really not looked into Hinduism very much, besides just like life experience of casual encounters, nothing rigorous or focused, I guess. Here, though, is my... Where is it? I forget where things are anymore. Too much shit. Not to call it shit. Sorry there, buddy. Oh, pal. Here we go. Doom-shaped trail. Story goes, the flood happened, in my interpretation, when ancient Dwarka was attacked by a vortex weapon. And that vortex weapon is written of in Egyptian Kolbrin Bible as the Doom Shape, which then moved over this way and funneled energy into the earth at a location in the magnetic anomaly map that literally looks like a swirl. I don't know why it freaking... Oops. Here's Gujarat, India, the head region. Here's this thing. For comparison of size, it's almost as big as this. So it's almost as big as this thing. Hidden underneath right here, this area, is this magnetic anomaly feature like no other on Earth. Nothing else even resembles this on Earth, which is where ancient Dwarka's vortex weapon punctured the mantle and allowed for energy flow into the Earth. And then the flood started to occur, which then flowed out in all directions, especially from that region though where the earth was punctured. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to, like, for there to be physical evidence of it still existing. I base it off of bathymetric data I came across one day. Literally just came across this one day. Heard about ancient Dwarka in passing. Like someone who, S.R. Rao or something. S.R. Rao. This dude who found ruins off the coast of Dwarka, modern day Dwarka. And people think it was Dwarka, but I was like, it doesn't have like the details of Dwarka. Like palaces of gold and things, like it's just brick. Which is cool, and it's old, and it's kind of incredible in and of itself. But it's not really Dwarka. But then I was like, well, I know this website. Maybe it, like, somehow it's in the bathymetry. And I literally looked and found it. I was like, it's right the fuck there. There's no way that's not it. There's no way this is not Dwarka. Oh my god, dude, I love Mount Gurnar. I have so much on Gurnar. It's like a huge focus of my research. If you see here. And then, let's see. Gujarat images. So this vortex weapon caused the Deccan Traps flood basalt and shaped this region as the vortex moved through, though, which then ended up focusing energy and causing an eddy to occur in the basalts that concentrated certain materials in Gurnar and created Gurnar as a product of these currents that were generally flowing from up here down through this way. They also went out this way and opened the Gulf of Kutch. Like, literally eroded it open by current flows going this way. But then the vortex storm that was caused by the attack on Dwarka moved over here, where then it was more able to just like send current flows this way to an outlet point right here. So it was going this way and exhausting this way. Because essentially what happened is the basalts flowed away from this point and built a mound over here in like an arc. This is all my interpretation, obviously. And then that was like a backstop. And definitely, I mean, it's as clear as day, I'd say, that they were used. The vortex weapon shaped the world. As crazy as that is, it is the cause of the flood. Which is probably a Brahmastra or some Astra type weapon. I mean, certainly there's like different angles of the same events written of in different books that show like different sides of the same story, basically. And it seems like there's a lot going on. I don't know what to make of it. It's just so complex without having hundreds of lifetimes to look into all the details. But this vortex weapon ended up focusing energy from the vortex up here down into the far point here that built a mound, and that led to current bending off of it and going this way and exhausting. But then the storm energetically repositioned. It was like, it's better here, since the exhaust is here, to have like a straight outlet. So then it moved over here, at which point it seems it like was more able to just get out of the region. So it went this way, where then it interacted with Gurnar in a really crazy way, where like energy flows just flow through the region into there and swirled and created Gurnar's rock type, where it's got a center of monzonite, two diorite biotite across the top of the actual like center of the mountain of these rock types, and then in that it has cyanite, nepheline cyanite intrusions, which then have zeniths of the lamprifier, with the like things in the core basically, and then surrounding that thing is a ring of basalt, and then surrounding that ring of basalt is a hexagonal-ish looking shape of olivine gabbro, and then surrounding that is a relatively hexagonal type boundary that is basalt, and then beyond that basalt, but still a hexagonal boundary, so it actually has like a shape difference with like this hard boundary over here, this boundary where it's got a sharp corner there. That's what I know of Gurnar. And then an eddy formed here. It's kind of hard to see. I can't zoom in. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on Gurnar. I've never been to India. I don't know if you're from India or something. That's how I get my Gurnar information, is papers. Like, where is this one? Where is it? Here it is. 1980, under Mount Gurnar, extending to the Moho, is a reflective boundary that is kind of like a mountain all the way to the Moho. And then another study showed a similar result. I don't know where it is. They definitely like disagreed in some way, but I mean, here it is. It's way more wide, but still to depth of at least 10 kilometers in this one. I don't know if I cannot remember if they I think they basically denied the reflective boundary, but there still is a like depression under it, so it's really definitely a larger structure than just like a surface thing going on. It's kind of incredible out by its lonesome. The eye of a freaking bird head next to a tortoise. Tortoise head, shell, some feet down here. Someone showed me. A YouTube video showed me that. I was like, oh, cool. Next to in the region where the storm slowly went through, it built a tortoise, and which went from around 550 to 66 million radiometric dating. And then at the KT boundary kind of time frame, the storm quickly moved this way through here and interacted. So it's kind of crazy. It has a slow period by a tortoise where it's kind of building up energy and interacting with the earth, but not like moving much. And then it has a taking flight period, like a bird, at the end. Fucking crazy. Out of this world, really. And how incredible it is, and like profound, probably. In terms of like how energy flows, something about how energy flows. When it's doing certain things. Meanwhile, etching another outlet right on this side. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep going through these. So we got up that way. I mean, there's obviously they're all connected. I don't need to keep doing this. Okay. Let's go back to so Pacific focus. Let's see. Like this one's pretty good. Or this one. I did these areas all individually, and I was trying to transpose it to this map over here. So that's what that is. There's a lot of just stuff from other finds I made, other conclusions I made. I should probably add some stuff though. Okay, I'll just do purple. So another eddy that's for sure happening is here, where it's. My thought is this current, the portion that's like kind of like here, it's being divided, so it's going across this way, but it's interacting with this other current that's like cutting it across, so it ends up having a portion go up. There's gotta be a way to turn that off. Up and then wraps around here. So there's just an eddy there, another at play. And here, I generally have current going through like a pinch point. That one's too generic. Too generic. I don't want this to be like non-exact things. I'm really trying to mostly follow the actual contours of this map as best I can. The details are all obviously only so much, but I really need to include this one. That's nice. I don't know why I freaking pauses. But west of let's go to here. Get a better idea. Going, I guess maybe here. Cross there and down this way. Actually, that might be what happened to it, but before the Himalayas uplifted, it was probably going more directly across it. Wow. Oh my God. So it's definitely vibrating too. So maybe this eddy. Like some of this eddy just kind of turns and goes that way. And this one going up, like it cuts it. If it's cutting it, that means it's going between it. I was thinking right this arrow might be see what I think I only have drawn currents in that area in a generic, simple way. Here's the Mediterranean. I do have an arrow here going right, but I also have stuff going left here. This eddy is, I'm quite confident going counterclockwise. And then there's another eddy over here. I'm quite confident going clockwise that I don't have in this one. So it's totally possible that this was actually more reaching in as an inlet. And the outlet was here, where like current going across went above that boundary to go across, which is why that's where it was like the margin that was going in. But there was a flow going westward that was really carving the margin by running into this other current, pushing its boundary. crazy. Just thinking. Okay, let's do this. I feel like that's not the color. Guess so. Okay, so like going off of this, maybe wrapping off resistance. I'm gonna. Like, what about what about Mount Grenard? What do you know about Mount Grenard? I don't even know anyone who's ever knows Mount Grenard. Besides people from India. And occasionally, I'm sure, but just I've never really encountered anyone who wasn't from India. I'm sure geologists out there, but probably not all of them, because why would they? They're not just like magically downloading some installed software that allows them to have all the information. Like, they still gotta learn it, no matter. And 4 years is still only 4 years, or 8 years, or whatever. Especially starting from like square one, basically. But we do have a current definitely going this way. Maybe that one. Possibly this one too. Oh. Could that be? It's probably going this way. Oops. From over here across there. Damn, I cannot freaking mouse over. That must not be good enough then. Wow. Thinking there was a bigger eddy than I realized. Or did I? That's centered more here. I think I only saw like here. Centered around there. Current going through that way. resistance eddying. Eddying bigger. Pushing out a margin here. So I'm guessing another current running through here. While this eddy is like going opposite direction of where everything else is kind of generally going. Although it's a little surprising there's not more tumultuousness there, maybe. Although that is right next to the Philippines, a pretty major spot in Earth's expansion process. Or it had like a nucleus this way and another one going this way. Oh. Like, think about getting some freaking hummus. That sounds good. Shoot. Freaking eat hummus on stream. What's up? Those moments when I envision it, like fucking flow running into resistance, like a current going up and over this way, where another current is going out and into a region where it has nowhere to go, so it's like held. And then this flow is just forced over here and erodes in here. And then continues through here, goes around this way, but like envisioning the flow with enough energy to be like on this scale and eroding shit like crazy. Oh my god. Cutting through. And then going off this way, running into the boundary of the severed Australia.
سمعنا تقولوا
maybe the current actually wraps around, runs into current going up or down, and kind of bends here more so to go down and stays outside of that. This region where an eddy is widening it by flowing in here. It starts by eroding here and then seeding like a larger eddy that starts to actually open this region, move things apart until it gets enough of an eddy. So what's happening in these eddies is they're like this eddy is cutting here and kind of restricted to here until it gets big enough that it actually goes beyond some other upward, like opposing current, not out here, but in this case here, and gets like severed from the main eddy, but with enough of a eddy and like pressure in the system to seed that current off, so then it branches off, but it goes into pressure, so it just eddies at a bigger eddy that's kind of moving the center further. This boundary, what do I want to cross here? This was over here. Generally speaking, Eastern Australia and North America and South America were much more coupled like this. And then Western Australia was like this, where these islands were just connected to it. So this current is coming down beneath Borneo's here. There's Philippines. So Philippines were over here, and essentially Australia was up to here. This corner was along this boundary here. This got shoved into it, but this region was down in this portion leading up to the Philippines. So this just folds in. This portion basically just boop folds in before this arc fills in behind it from current flow pushing in and arcing. It was in there, and then the Philippines similarly was over here. They got separated even more, and then Borneo was adjacent to that with this corner here. So I'm thinking, if there's an eddy here that's growing, it's kind of separating Australia some reason. I guess because of the eddy, it starts pushing it away. Meanwhile, there's current going down this way into it, which is really probably why it's eddying in the first place, because there's a freaking intense current going along this margin of currents that are going along North America and then running along Asia, that are then focusing a beam into this huge arc. Literally a major boundary here. Major current boundary that is also like in there. So it's like it eddied here and then eddied here, eddied and grew, pushing out this current that was here, pushing it out, literally opening these freaking island arcs, because there's a current here that's just flowing along this margin. And then there's an eddy next to it that pushes it out and rigidly scoops these islands along with it as part of the process, at least. Then there's other eddies along this chain that I have talked about before, but I don't even know how they don't compare to this huge eddy. I'm thinking of a small eddy that grows, starts pushing. If Australia is like here, is Borneo, and then the Philippines. So the Philippines would be more so like here relative to Borneo. Literally with this portion here, this crevice would have been related to this crevice, and this chunk in here, and it was in, and then it just came out and rotated. As ridiculous as that may seem, in the process of the flood currents. So if there's an eddy here, perhaps as it was pushing the boundary, it reached here where it started to actually cut along the backside. So if the Philippines, this portion is right here facing that way, and there's an eddy that starts to go behind it, then that would go this way. So this right here, with the boob drill in location, seems plausible. Eddy center there, it looks like. Goes in, across, through. But the end of the Philippines was adjacent here, so when it's going in, across, and through, it would have ran into like across here. For some reason it's like energetically coupled itself in its turning to be more coupled to this area. Like its current was going in and it blew out of exit current to a point where it actually attached itself and goes across and back up the other way, because there's currents going up this way too. Across here, atop it, up this way, while the currents are going underneath that and below and across this way. thinking there's gotta be something really important. But recognizing that growing eddy was forming here that was cutting apart the western margin of Australia and separating it from it. Maybe even a bigger eddy. Like generally speaking, this area. It's just being filled with currents that were going down, over, running into resistance, bending back, and filling this. Going in. It's like the current was going across this way, but then up as well. Like if it went underneath Australia that way. Like if we could just move Australia, boop, up here and kind of ignore these islands. Except for Borneo. Relatively move it up though, compared to over here. And then those things reattach to it along its side there. If we could do that, then we would have the southern side of Australia being cut as it goes around this way. In terms of Borneo, but then it's like it cuts it and then cuts up along this way, along this way until it gets caught into this corner, and then it establishes a connection to that corner. Just like there probably would be evidence of this current going this way if it is what's happening, and then going out and running into Australia as it shifted, as Australia is moving. So it's going basically across this way, but Australia is moving across this way, until finally across this way. And while that's happening, it's going behind the Philippines and cutting it from behind, while another current is cutting it from the front. So both sides are being cut, so it's just being separated, as well as this material is being redeposited into North America. And this material that's missing, all the material of this stuff is being redeposited elsewhere. But then the current kind of ramps up, interacts here maybe. Okay, dudes. Cool. I would say made some progress. I should probably. Oh, I have this one eddying this way. I think it's going the other way though. Or maybe this was a smaller internal one. Alright.